Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Love Letters to Pam, or you may be watching, of course, on the YouTube channel. That's Traveling with Jack and Pam. Either way, thanks again for checking in with us. I kind of feel like I'm doing one of those fireside chats that they used to do the fireside chat, I think, from the White House, things like that, as I'm sitting here in my living room. But it's just kind of a comfortable setting for me these days, so I thought, well, why not have our discussion here? And we're going to be talking about something that I never thought would affect me, because it never did until I lost Pam, and that's anxiety. Now, anxiety, I'd heard about it, I knew about it, but until you've experienced it, you don't understand it. And it can be debilitating if you let it. But we're going to talk about some ways to overcome anxiety. Now, I've told you guys and girls before that when it comes to special dates, I always try and do something special on those dates so that I don't dread them. And if you ever want to learn more about that, I've done well over 100 podcasts and videos. You can go back through and look up different subject matter about special dates, anniversaries, birthdays, Valentine's Day, the things that I've done on those dates where I still honor Pam and have some fun doing it, and it makes the day better for me. Well, this year, I experienced a little bit of anxiety. I wouldn't call it worry. It was more of just this gnawing feeling that our anniversary was coming up, January 23rd. And every year I've done something special on our anniversary. This year, even though this would have been the 4th anniversary I celebrate without Pam, I was just feeling a little anxious. The night before, I couldn't sleep very well. I kept having all these crazy thoughts and things that start to happen when you get that anxiety attack. And the way I fight that, though, is I get out of bed and sometimes just walk around a little bit, go outside for a little bit, come back in. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm taking a walk out there. And then I got better. Now, in those early days, right after I lost Pam, there were nights I would walk around for hours, just in circles and things. Thank the Lord, it's not that case anymore. So anyway, the next day is my anniversary, and I had to put in for taking the day off from work. And I was going to go play golf at a golf course that Pam and I enjoyed here in the Phoenix area. And I'd made a reservation at a restaurant called Seasons 52, where we had also spent our anniversary. In fact, it was the last really special time that we got to do an anniversary, because it was 2018. And in 2019 is when Pam started going downhill with the cancer in her bones. And I actually had a photograph of us at Seasons 52 restaurant from that date in 2018. And she just looked absolutely stunning. But anyway, I was feeling a little anxious, and I almost thought about, you know what, I'm just going to not take the day off. I'm just going to work. And then something told me, no, you're not going to do that. Get out there and see what the day has to offer. Now, I also, through the course of the day that morning, my tea time wasn't until like 12:30. I did a couple special things for some strangers. I'm not going to get into what I did to get these self-accolades. That's not what this is about. But it always feels good to do something nice for others. And I told them it was in Pam's memory. It was our anniversary. Excuse me, I've got a little sinus thing going on, so every now and then you may hear me trying to clear things up. Anyway, so I go to the golf course, and I have no idea if I'm going to be paired with anybody. It ends up I am paired with an older gentleman and a younger gentleman. And it ends up it's a son-in-law and his father-in-law. And I'm going to tell you, these two guys could not have been nicer. Their names were James and Bob. And Bob was 83 years old, and they asked me a little bit about myself, and I told them it was my anniversary, and I was out there celebrating, because my wife and I usually tried to play golf on our anniversary, weather permitting. And Bob told me that he'd lost his wife about 10 years ago. And so Bob and I had a nice little conversation. Bob later remarried later in life, but he said he still misses his wife of 50 years every day. James, his son-in-law, is a physician here in the local area. Again, could not have been nicer. We truly enjoyed one another's company. And after I finished the 18 holes of golf, I told them how special they had made my day. 2 complete strangers. And I was so glad that I hadn't taken that initiative. I'm glad I had to have taken the opportunity to have canceled the golf and said, no, I'm not going to do it, because it proved to be a wonderful day. Well, then I'm heading home, and I'm going to get showered and cleaned up to get ready to go to the restaurant that evening. It's 7 o'clock reservation. And I got there, I pulled up in the parking area. As I'm watching people go in the restaurant, it's all couples in groups. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know. So I'm starting to get a little anxious. I'm like, I can't do this. But I think, no, I'm going in, because I'd been there last year on our anniversary and had not been back since our anniversary. And then we'd been there on our anniversary in 2018. And we'd visited another time when Lola had her 90th birthday there. So very familiar with the place. When I go up, Adam, the manager, is there to greet me. And he remembered me from a year ago. And he goes, Jack, we've got a really nice table for you. I couldn't believe it, because the restaurant was packed. Again, it's all couples and groups at all the tables, the bar and everywhere. But I'd made a reservation for a table. And he took me to a back portion of the restaurant there, a beautiful booth. He goes, I think this is where you sat last year, isn't it? I went, you know, it sure is. Wow. How special was that? Then my server came over. Her name was Bobby. And I think that Adam had cued her in, because she goes, well, hello, Jack. We're so glad that you're back. She had a bright, beaming smile. Just made me feel so at home. The bottom line, it was an incredible experience. It was a great dinner. They treated me wonderfully. At the end of the meal at Seasons 52, they have these bite-sized desserts. They brought out 2 on a plate, and in chocolate, the chef had spelled happy anniversary. Now, you might be saying, well, didn't you feel out of place with all those couples and groups and families that were all around you? Absolutely not. Because Adam and Bobby made me feel so at ease and at home. There was no anxiousness. And the bottom line being, because I did put myself out there, 4 complete strangers helped make my anniversary incredibly special. So I'm telling you, when you have that urge to give in to those anxious moments and to back away, don't do it. Keep putting that one foot in front of the other. Now let's fast forward, though, a few days. And I told you I had this little sinus thing going on. And one night, I do apologize. It was making me feel almost a little sick. You know how sinus sometimes can make your body ache a little bit. You just don't feel good. And it was just so hard to go to sleep. And I woke up in the night, and I started having all these crazy thoughts about Pam. I started thinking about our past life. I started thinking about when we lived in Bend, Oregon. And then I started thinking about all of our friends there and how much I missed getting together with them and doing things with other couples. Then my mind started racing. I started thinking back to Florida and all of our friends there and how much fun we had. Then I started thinking about California and all of our friends there and the things it was all related to mine and Pam's life and being with other couples and friends and things like that and just enjoying life. And I'm going to tell you, it was making me crazy. The anxiety level was huge. And I knew I got to get out of this funk. This is not a good place for me. I had not felt that in a long time. And I think, too, it's because I wasn't feeling that good. So you know what I did? I got up finally about 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. And it was really cold outside for Phoenix. It was like in the 30s. So I said, well, I'm not going outside and walking around. So I turned on Netflix and I turned on Seinfeld. And I started watching Seinfeld. And it started to make me laugh as I'm watching it. And before long, that anxious feeling, that anxiety melted away after about an hour. And I went back to bed and I slept for a few hours. And then I got up. And I went, thank you, God, for getting me through the night. And we all know the nights can be really, really hard. It was like even this evening, for example, after I finished work, I normally go hike a local mountain down to the south here. But today I thought, you know what, there's this really beautiful shopping plaza area. It's called Biltmore Fashion Square. I went there and I walked around and it was just lovely. And I again was the only single person that I really saw. I think I saw one other guy by himself walking around, but it was okay. I was feeling okay walking around. I was distracted, you might say. I wasn't going to buy anything. I'm just looking at stuff. And then I realized you're avoiding going home. And I haven't done that in a long time. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to share these stories with you, you, and you. And that'll make me feel better. And it does. I feel better right now having shared these stories with you. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel, Traveling with Jack and Pam. And for those of you that are monthly contributors to the podcast, Love Letters to Pam, The Jack Church Show, I sincerely appreciate your support as well. Until next time, have a great day. Better yet, make it a better tomorrow. Bye now.